All right. Welcome into the Questionable Podcast. Big day today. You got Scotty Questions here with Meko. What's good, man?
What's good, man?
Oh, my goodness. There's a lot of good, but there's a lot going on. So, everybody, first off, welcome in. And we have a guest star today, ladies and gentlemen, from the West Coast, the wettest coast right now. Snowing and raining. And see, we have Gian Hendricks.
Oh, hello.
What's good, Gian?
Oh, the weather, the day, everything.
Well,
you get to take walks. Like, you get to go out in the park and enjoy outside.
Yeah, that's where I am right now.
That's what's up. Gian, thank you for dialing in today. We appreciate it. Everybody else, go ahead, Gian. Yep.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. I feel like a lot of the streamers don't know that I'm like a part of this show.
Oh, they do, but they'll learn more.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you've been around since like the early days of this podcast, you know that Gian is the third member of this amazing crew that we have here. So
Gian the Hurricane Hendricks, for those. Yeah.
It's good to all be back together.
It is.
Yeah, it feels good. I was very excited when I realized the timing was going to work out tonight.
Yeah, man. I mean, and like Scotty said at the top of it, like there is so much to talk about. First day of tampering, quote unquote, first day of NFL free agency. There's a lot of stuff going on. The Lions are making some moves. The Bears are making moves that people aren't happy about. Like,
hold on, guys. I do a little house cleaning before we get any further. I just want to welcome everybody into the chat, all the viewers. Thank you for tuning in today. Please like, follow, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Hit that subscribe button on Twitch or YouTube. Jay Pook, what's good on Twitch? Don't forget we're on Twitch. Also, head over to Questionable Tees. Get the remainders of the MCDC pieces. Those are out of style. We are going to tweak those and make those fun though for this year. So we have some cool stuff with that, but also new designs coming. We're going to wear those next week, and we have another special guest next week. So everybody that's tune in right now, thank you. And next week's going to be good too. So anyway, back to regularly scheduled programming. We're here with Meko and Gian. And we're going to talk NFL free agency today. A lot has happened, everyone. A lot has happened.
So much for like Brad Holmes having like slow starts to NFL free agency and like
time. It's about time. I like it. It's timely. I appreciate it. Felt like a little slow roll into it, but I feel like he's getting the hang of it maybe. So having said that, Meko, lead us off. Let's dig in. I mean, I don't know.
I know we got to kick off with. I mean, again, this is a Lions focused podcast. So we got to start with the Lions moves first and foremost. And it starts with the Lions re-signing a couple key pieces, guys that we were all fairly confident that the Lions would prioritize and that they would sign. But like, again, it's good when they get these out of the way. Because we hadn't heard a whole lot of movement, but the Lions re-signed Isaiah Buggs. They re-signed Craig Reynolds along with Alex Anzalone as like the big, like I said, these were like the big pieces of as far as key contributors.
Anzalone.
Also,
I've got a whole thing on that, so we'll hit on that in a little bit.
Yeah, because like I was gonna say, like we're not just gonna like breeze past these. Like we're definitely gonna dive in and give our thoughts on each signing. But those were like the three big ones. I think as they also re-signed a couple of their exclusive restricted free agents and Scott Daly as the long snapper, Benito Jones, Anthony Pittman, and they kept two of their big time tight ends that were key contributors in Brock Wright and Shane Zylstra. So again, a lot of moves by the Lions on the first day of tampering, first day of quote unquote free agency. But let's go back up to the top and let's get your guys' reactions to the Lions re-signing Isaiah Buggs, whose deal is currently being reported as a 2-year deal that is worth up to $6 million. Gian, we haven't heard from you in forever, so I'm going to start with you. First impressions on Isaiah Buggs and the deal that he got.
I love it just because he was one of those guys. He was like a put your money where your mouth is signing. Like Isaiah Buggs, I don't know where he came from, but he was definitely, we didn't draft him. I think did he come in at training camp?
No, I believe Isaiah Buggs was a signing. I believe Isaiah was someone that was signed during free agency. Yeah.
Okay.
We got him
But,
from. Go ahead, John. Go ahead.
oh, I don't know. I was waiting for you to finish that thought. We got him from where?
I'm gonna look it up. Go.
We got him from
But no.
Pittsburgh.
Okay. Oh, a little foreshadowing there. But no, it was great because he really became a leader in the locker room, as we saw with all of the inside the den in the victory. He got the game ball against. It's been a while. I can't remember. The viewers, I have a 5-month-old, so my memory is scrambled. But he got the game ball, and he's just a great locker room leader, and his on-field production throughout the season just got better and better and better. And so he did seem like a priority to re-sign. And Holmes and Campbell have been beating the table that if you show out, we will find a place for you. And this felt like a put your money where your mouth is. Here's a guy who did, in fact, show out, played with a ton of grit, became a leader in the locker room. Okay, now pay me. And they did exactly that. So,
no, I'm in full agreement with that one. Scotty, thoughts on Isaiah Buggs returning as a Lion?
Yeah, I mean, you had to. Guy put it together mid-season, toward the end of the season. He just kept getting better and better. I mean, he was the monster in the middle, right? Toward the end of the season. Yeah. He really was.
He had that goal line stand. Like, I think it was like Packers. It might have been the Packers. I don't know.
Well, he played well against the Packers, but I think it was a couple games before that. But
yeah, when he had it was like first and goal, and I think we held him to a field goal based purely on Buggs.
Yeah, I mean, dude, when he makes his mind up, can be that guy. And in what I saw from him re-signing, he just wanted a place to call home, right? Like where he was before. So Pittsburgh, it wasn't really home to him. It didn't fit. Like I'm not gonna quote him, but basically, the gist that I got from that was that wasn't home. It wasn't like I didn't feel taken care of. I felt like it was just like, drafted plug and play. And Detroit is a home. It made it a home. So he was like, I'm staying. They called him. Picked him because yep, whatever. So that's fantastic. I mean, I'm very happy about that. So yes, I mean, that's a solid signing. Also for 6, great.
No, I'm in full agreement with both of you. Real quick before I give my thoughts, shout out to our YouTube audience, Tactical Puma 58. Kind of chimed in and said, regarding Anzalone, I'm not mad, just disappointed.
T Puma, what's up?
Shout out to Jameson Hennessy saying love the show. Shout out to Casey saying hello, gents. Thanks for the stream. Also, Buggs also had that goal line force fumble during the season. So, yeah, I mean, for me,
also shout out to Jay Pook on Twitch.
Yes, Jay Pook, shout out to you as well, holding it down over on Twitch. But no, as in regards to Isaiah Buggs, this was somebody that I was high on my list as far as guys that I thought they needed to re-sign, because not only did Isaiah Buggs play well as far as from a production standpoint and really making life easy for Aleem McNeil, where Aleem could really play that 3 technique and not just have to be the nose tackle. Like John said, he provided a level of leadership that defensive line desperately needed. You had Michael Brockers on the back end, probably holding things down, in practices and meetings. But as far as a leader on the field that could keep this defense kind of together, it definitely felt like Isaiah Buggs was doing that a little more so than anyone else in that group of starters. So he was somebody that for me that I was like, yo, you have to re-sign this guy because he just makes life easier and he provides a level of intensity that I'm not sure anyone else is bringing to the defensive line at this time. So again, I'm very happy with it. I think the deal that he got is more than fair. And Scotty, to your point about what he was saying as far as feeling at home, again, I think that's a huge part of, some of these guys where as soon as the season was over, Isaiah Buggs was one of those guys who was like, yo, I want to be back.
Yeah.
Didn't want to play games, didn't want to really necessarily go through the free agency process. He knew where he wanted to be. And so kudos to Brad Holmes and the Lions for getting this done right away.
Well, and Meko, just to add on to that real quick, right? That's another hit on culture, right? The guys that want to be here, that are going to go through brick walls, That's what we need to keep. We need to continue to cultivate and grow that group of guys and that mentality and that culture. And I think we're going to touch on Ramsey at some point, and that's why that didn't work out. I mean, dude wanted to be in Miami. Like, okay, don't blame you. It's snowing here. It's, no.
It's literally snowing in March.
No tax. Like, you're going from L.A. to Detroit or L.A. to Miami.
No income tax. Yeah.
Right. Like, I get it. But that's fine. I think the Sutton move we're going to talk about, I'm much happier with that. He's so much more a Lions player coming from Pittsburgh, right? I mean, that team, I don't care. Pittsburgh's always gritty. Like,
Yeah. No, I think from a culture fit, we'll get to Sam Sutton in a little bit, but yeah, I think that's where you see the parallels as far as in culture and what is expected of a player like that. But before we get to Cam Sutton, let's talk about Craig Reynolds. Let's talk about Alex Anzalone. For me, Craig Reynolds was a little bit of a surprise. Not that I didn't want Craig back, but let's be honest, guys. If we were going to talk about a running back being re-signed on the first day of tampering or the first day of free agency, however you want to look at it, we would have all thought it would have been Jamal Williams. Instead, it's Craig Reynolds. Instead, it's Craig Reynolds, and I'm not mad about it. I'm surprised, but I'm not mad about it.
That spider sense is tingling for me, in which Jamal's leaning to not sign with us. That's where I go with that a little bit.
Yeah.
That's immediately where I went. I was like, oh no, there's a chance Jamal won't sign with us. He'd have to get a ton of money, and he might. Right, the suitors were the Bills, Bengals, and Jets. I'm assuming we'll see what happens, but I know that Mixon's a free agent next year.
I believe so.
I think, so they would have Mixon and Jamal and P. Ryan. That would be a crazy tandem. So I am a little concerned. Now, I do have some insider information in which I was told, which I wasn't gonna release last week. That Meko, can I say it now? Do you think? Or should we wait?
As long as you put the caveat on it that it is highly, it's speculative.
This is highly speculative through a third party. I was not there, but it is.
So
it was
easy. Hold on. Is this easy last year coming on and saying he had insider information from the Jacksonville Jaguars front office that we were taking Malik it to?
Okay, no,
Hopefully
because this is someone close to Jamal, right? That was at an event, VIP event. They were they were paired together. They had some time to talk about it, and what Jamal wants to do, what he wants to do. This was 2 weeks ago. He wanted to stay one more year, and in his contract, he wanted to sign to be a running backs coach for the Lions.
Oh,
so he wanted to stay and then coach. I think
that was the thing.
I think he has more than what, but that was the conversation.
Wait. Go ahead.
Hold on. So he only wants to play one more year. Is that what this person's saying?
Correct. It was one more year. It was one more year contract, and then in the contract, he wanted to be a coach.
Okay. Interesting.
The running back coach for the Lions.
Yeah.
When you told me this last week, I was like, yeah, we can't just come out and say that. But the thing that makes that very unbelievable for me is, one, Jamal is still fairly young. He's coming off one of the best years of his career. I don't see why he would limit himself to a 1 year type of deal. And two, to make that kind of jump, coaching also just doesn't seem like a Jamal thing. I think that's probably the part of it that makes it really hard to fathom, is that coaching doesn't feel like something that Jamal would want to do.
I can't name names, but Dr. Detroit, no, this is from one of my best friends who was with one of his. So I do want to validate this and not just say it's a thing from a thing from a thing, but no, this is what I heard a couple weeks ago. So, and that again, a couple weeks ago is a millennia ago. So everybody just calm down.
Free agency terms,
it's over. And so as soon as I heard Bills, Bengals, and Jets wanted him, I go, dude, I think he might go then for the bag. He might. Why not? And he might come back. What's up, Karina? He might come back.
Yeah.
John. But he might come back to coach. All I'm saying is, like, I think he has more football to play, Meko, to your point. But again, we got to try. I'm just giving you guys the sources that we have, and we are whatever you guys think. I don't care, but we are tapped in. I'm sorry, I'm at the NFL draft. I'm sorry, we're here and we're there. Like, we know a couple people. It's not like we're just pulling it out of thin air. So I just want to make that claim.
No, absolutely. But I mean, I think that's where things get kind of tricky when, especially like you have a Craig Reynolds signing, and it's not Jamal. I mean, we don't know the details of Craig's contract necessarily, or at least I haven't seen him. I don't know if it's a 1-year deal. I don't know if it's a 2-year deal. But like I said, like for me, it's a bit surprising. Gian, what was your first thought when you heard that, like, yo, Craig is staying in Detroit?
I was pretty, I mean, I don't know. I was kind of like okay about it. Just because like maybe I was a little too high on him last season.
Okay.
As like
Hard Knocks.
The big swing and miss of Hard Knock syndrome, totally. The big swing and miss I had for my like mid-season prediction was that like Craig Reynolds and DeAndre Swift would be like the most dynamic duo in the NFL. So I was way off on that one. So I think that's why it was just math, just because I think Jamal did have such a great season. DeAndre Swift battled when he came back from that injury. He hit his stride at such a critical moment in our season to win us 8 out of the last 10. So there really just wasn't room for him in the way that there was maybe the previous year. So like 2 seasons ago. So when they re-signed him, I was like, yeah, it makes sense. But I wasn't like, pounding the table like I did when I heard about, like Cam Sutton, or I wasn't, kind of like, well, let's wait and see the details of how this contract is structured, like when I heard the Anzalone news.
Right. I mean, at least for me, like when I heard that Craig was staying, like I immediately was like, oh, well, Craig gets his RB3 spot back. That was like the first thought I had, was that he gets his RB3 spot back, which he kind of lost due to injury, and like they re-signed Justin Jackson they signed Justin Jackson, and Justin Jackson performed well. So like,
yeah, he did well.
The Lions have very much been fair on the whole idea that like, hey, those who play well continue to play. So I think to your point, like Craig just never was able to crack that lineup again, even once he was healthy, because Justin Jackson was still playing at a really high level. But I think he at least has the opportunity now to kind of be able to go back to like, and again, reclaim the position that he had at the start of training camp.
Yeah.
Let's move to Alex Anzalone, like, because that's a highly volatile signing.
The golden locks, the flow.
Thor himself is in Detroit for another 3 years currently, based off the contract he has.
You know what we should sell is wigs. They should sell wigs.
Oh my God!
Anybody listening,
hilarious.
you can take that idea, just put questionable tees on it.
Like, now that he's locked up for 3 years.
Right, 3 years. I'd invest in wigs. I would sell wigs in the parking lot all day long. Giant Thor wigs. Sorry, and Thor hammers. Sorry, Meko.
No, you're good.
My take on Anzalone is very brief, but I just want to and it's basically just reminding people that we do not know the incentive structure of it yet. It could be highly incentivized. We don't really know. The details aren't out. But also, someone posted for context, Anzalone, if you look at where he is at versus the number 1 highest paid linebacker in the league, there's about a $20 million difference between how much he makes per year. Like $20 million degree difference. If you take the 32nd highest paid, so like on, in terms of teams, 32nd highest paid linebacker, there's only a $3 million difference between what Anzalone is being paid over the 32nd highest paid linebacker. So the value for what he brings to the team isn't actually all that bad. I think we're just kind of like suffer from recency bias in a lot of the missed tackles and a lot of the play from 2 seasons ago. And so that's why this might seem like a bit of a head scratcher, but in terms of what he's being paid towards his value, it's actually like Brad Holmes kind of nailed it again.
Meko, go ahead. Finish what you were thinking.
Well, yeah, I have talked myself into thinking that this is a good signing, and it's for two reasons. One, because Alex did have a great season. And again, I don't know how you quantify leadership, but when you look at the fact that for the first two seasons that Alex was here, he played on a discount. For whatever reason, the first 2 years were prove-it deals or whatever. And so I feel like there was a certain element where it's like you feel like you probably have to pay him his due because he's already giving you a discount 2 years in a row. He delivered the second year in a big way. And so I don't hate this deal. And it's also like a realization to me that like the Lions just don't prioritize the linebacker position like that. Yes. They're just never going to do that. And so if that's the reality of it, then Alex Anzalone, at least you know what you're going to get. You've had him for 2 years. You know what his lowest of lows is, and you kind of have seen what his highest of highs is. So hopefully, yes, you hope that you get play that's closer to the top of what you saw, this past season. But I mean, at the same time, you still do have Malcolm Rodriguez. You still do have Derek Barnes. I'm going to probably throw it out on the line. Like they're probably going to draft another linebacker somewhere in the 4th or 5th round again, because that seems to be like Brad Holmes' sweet spot for getting linebackers. So
we're just forgetting it steals Amon-Ra, Malcolm.
Yeah. I mean, and again, that's not a bad thing, but I think, yes, there's always going to be that feeling like that you could upgrade over Alex Anzalone. But again, you take into consideration his production last season, you take into consideration his age, because I think we all do. Somebody said this on Twitter, and I do agree with it. I think we all somehow think that Alex Anzalone is like 35 years old. And I think that's because he looks like a 35-year-old man in the face. Yeah. Dude is 28. Like, he's the oldest 28-year-old I've ever seen in my life.
He does.
Well, dude
Meko, lived in the sun for a while.
Yeah.
like him and Greg Oden, like just have looked old in the face since they were like babies.
Like,
I just
Thor can fly. He's just hanging out in the sun, getting a tan. But
I keep going back to that tweet you said about the announcer that Andrew Voorhees like suffered an ACL sprain or tear. And that photo that they had of him like doing the combine, dude, that guy's got to be what, like 20, 21, and his ass looked like a 38-year-old. Like he looks older than me. Yeah. And I'm going to be 40 in August. And like this dude at 21 is like looking like he is like a sitcom dad.
Dude, it's so like, yeah, like I think, I mean, the deal is done, and I think we're going to have to just get used to the fact that Alex Anzalone is our middle linebacker, and for better or for worse, we at least know he brings great leadership, right? Now, can that play be consistent from year to year? Like, that's the thing that we have to see. We've seen him at his lowest. We've now seen him at his highest. The Lions are banking on him being somewhere closer to the high end of his play with this new deal.
Yeah, and again, hopefully with scheme, because we saw, like, later in the year, Calvin Shepard, Coach Shepard even said, like, from the neck up, Alex Anzalone has everything you could ever ask for in an NFL linebacker. So, right. And we saw that towards the end of the season, whether through scheme or matchups, where he was like blowing up screens 40 yards deep in the backfield. That week 18 against the Packers, he had a massive tackle for a loss, just basically purely off of reading the play, diagnosing it, and correctly knowing exactly where it was going to go. And so, like you said, Meko, if we get more of that, then this is going to look more like a steal as it goes on.
No, I completely agree.
And
Scotty, get in what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I want to add in. So Anzalone, for me, remember last year when we signed him right before, like with Hard Knocks, right? It was like he got a call, he's coming in, like, and we're all like, Anzalone? But I got to give a shout out to Jay Pook, making a good point as I was thinking about this. Like, he was honestly in mentoring Rodriguez. I mean, like, think about like him mentoring the younger guys, even though he's not that old, but he does. Just because he is not perfect doesn't mean that he doesn't know how to do it perfectly. Okay, that's right. What I want to. That's what I want to say to everybody here. Is like, just because he can't and he's missed like was 12% of his tackles, like, just because he's not perfect doesn't mean he doesn't know where the F to go. And I think that was something that we've missed. And not missed, but like that's something we didn't talk about. Like and you're saying like in his head he's all there, but like he can't get there to every play. Now, he had some very big plays and very timely moments, right? Let's not forget that, right? He what is it, Justin Fields wrap up to end the game? That could have been bad, or was like
that was Julian Cora, but I think
sorry,
blew up that play.
John's fault. John's back. Sorry.
Yeah, my fault.
That's all I can play of that now.
I know.
2 seconds. 2 seconds. It was just LA. So anyway, so that's my biggest point is just because he can't do it doesn't mean he doesn't know it. And so if he knows it, like it sounds like he does, he's coaching these guys. So if they sign him to 3 years, what that tells me is they are going to draft one, Meko, right? We are going to draft one, to your point. So we're going to draft like one of the best ones we can. And then we're going to have, like, that's what 3 years is to me. Because we're not doing that in free agency. Because we would have done it already. We would have had to. Now, we could still be in talks with them, but we would have heard it today, right? Big splashes are today, tomorrow. Everything right now is like, they're all back and forth. Now we're in the mix of, people trying to get the most out of what they can. In my opinion, but that's my thought. Does that?
No, that makes total sense. And to your point, like they have the draft picks, whether it's the second round, third round. Like I said, the sweet spot has been like the fourth round or later for linebackers on this, as far as Brad Holmes is concerned. But I mean, we talked about it last week. There are some good linebackers in this draft that they can kind of pick up. My heart is set on Noah Sewell just for the storyline, but I mean, there's also Jack Campbell, who seems to be the most Dan Campbell linebacker that's probably in this draft class. Dion Henley is another good one out of I believe it's Arizona State, not Arizona State, sorry. But he's another one that's like a really good linebacker that again is like a fly around all around the place and just make plays type of guy. So. Again, we just have to see like how the Lions choose to Washington State is where he's from. There we go. It's just a matter of, I know, Karina, I'm sorry.
Karina, it's okay. Yes. We'll Karina, take it easy on us. Okay. We're doing our best. For those that don't know, that's Sean's daughter.
But yeah, like that's the story on Alex Anzalone. I think he's a great mentor. I think, again, you kind of know what you're going to get on a play in, play out type of situation. And again, he's the perfect guy to mentor these young guys as they kind of start to develop. But let's change gears again. So we got the re-signings out the way. The Lions did get one shiny new toy on the first day of tampering. As of right now, because it's tampering, like, they've agreed to this deal. There's a handshake in place. There's this agreement, but obviously they cannot sign him until Wednesday when free agency officially like opens and, players can sign with teams. But as of right now, they have an agreement in place to acquire cornerback Cameron Sutton. From the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's a 3-year deal, 3-year, $33 million deal with $22.5 million guaranteed. Gian, you kind of called this one from jump that this would be a guy that the Lions should prioritize and Lions should go after.
He did.
Lap, sir.
Wait, hold on. For those that don't know, we have a text chain, us three, Questionable Podcast text chain. And Gian, can you please explain, or actually, no, Meko, can you set the stage for Gian? Do you mind?
I cannot, because I cannot remember this conversation. We have so many of them.
I know. John, all right, John, can you set the stage for yourself? And we'll end it.
But it was like over. I mean, it was over a month ago.
No, that's what we're saying. You're the only one that can remember it. Like, it was a month ago. John was calling this.
He just seemed like the most, because it was in the depths when like the rumors started to fly about Jalen Ramsey.
Yes.
And everyone was like, oh, it's splash, and like that would be so great. It's our weakest, getting one of the best cornerbacks at one of our plays in one of our weakest units. And I just kind of had this feeling like that didn't feel like Brad Holmes. Like Brad Holmes, I think, and Dan Campbell, I think they both, and Sheila now, I think they all share this philosophy that you get Jalen Ramsey's in the draft. You don't sign Jalen Ramsey's in free agency. You don't trade for Jalen Ramsey's, maybe unless you're, like the Rams, one piece away, a Von Miller away. And like that's when you do that. So I started to look at other free agents that were available, and a nice because I think Brad Holmes sees you get depth, you get leadership, you get veterans, and then you get very high floor. Like you get B plus tier. I think is Brad Holmes' ideal free agent signing, and Cam Sutton just checked all those boxes. And I looked up at who cornerbacks on Sport Track were going to be free agents. Cam Sutton just checked all of those boxes about great leadership. I sent you guys, I don't know if you had a chance to watch it, like a little one-on-one interview with him. And he just seems absolutely like a Holmes and Campbell guy. Watching that interview made me think that they had Cam Sutton's name circled a long time ago. And it was just very interesting to see that play out. And to the contract, I went into the Steelers subreddit, and they were melting down. They were panicking. They were like, he was just such a. They were like, he was our only good cornerback, and he was very good, and just a great leader, locker room guy, high character guy, and everything I sent you, just that he was like the smartest cornerback that his coaches, his college coach, high school, college, and then even Mike Tomlin were like, he is the smartest cornerback that we have. And so you combine all of that, the overwhelming, talking about contract and Anzalone for a second, one resounding thing that I kept hearing in the Steelers sub when they looked at the contract and they're like, holy shit, like we couldn't have matched that. And I only bring that up now when we're talking about Jamal Williams, is I'm going to be pissed off, or not pissed off, because
no, just hey, speak it how it is. Just to say it how it is, man. If you're gonna be pissed, be pissed. Yeah, it's fine.
That is not the reaction I want to have when I read the Jamal Williams goes to another team of like, it was like $5 million a year for 2 years.
No, that's not gonna happen. I don't think he'll leave for that though, John. Right? Like I don't think he'll leave for the bat. Like he'll leave for like the top RB. They're gonna pay him like they're gonna give him the bag.
So I didn't mean
only way he leaves.
Here, but that just made me think like that's just a reaction I don't want to have. It's like, are you kidding me? Like we couldn't have matched 25 guaranteed with Cam Sutton. But yeah, as far as like where that came from, I feel like that's what Holmes and Campbell like.
It was a gut call. It was a Gian Hurricane Hendricks gut call early before anybody else a month ago. And yeah, we had a couple gifts. That was really funny. So Gian, you know what? I should have wore Gian was right today. I'm sorry. I have it. You know what's funny is I have it right over there.
Oh man.
You know what?
I was even thinking about texting you.
Well, why didn't you? Man, become a movement is life. Movement is life. Text.
Because I don't need to flaunt my victories. There will be plenty more.
No, you need to flaunt. No, you need to flaunt the ones you have. Come on, man. Come on.
Wait to see how you play.
Yeah, you're not even. You're like dialing in. Yeah, you need to flaunt them when you got them. Yeah. So text me next time.
Fair enough.
That's so funny.
Scotty, thoughts on Cam Sutton though?
So the thing about Cam Sutton, I thought, I'm like, Cam Sutton. I'm like, oh, I've heard that name before. And then it hit me. Oh my gosh, John. And I just shook my head. I go, freaking John. So like, I was like, how did he know? He's got some family in Pittsburgh. I'm like, did he know that way? No, I'm kidding. But seriously, after the signing and the amount, I did some more research, and Sutton was one of the guys in which the team, I forget who it was, being interviewed saying that Sutton is one of the leaders we can't lose, like not as much of a Jamal, but a leader of the team. Like, we can't lose this guy. He kind of holds us together because we're not quite there yet, and we really need him to stay to help build this. So we nabbed him from Pittsburgh, I think that's a great signing in regards to leadership, especially for that room, right? As we talk about this and growing that room, we need a leader. So if he's a leader, and the best part about this, right, he's a couple years under his belt. Like, it's not like we're getting a rookie, that has to get in a couple years. I mean, this is, to me, a great signing. I think it's a fair price. I think that this is a great way to put Holmes's foot through the door, if you will, in his first, his first real signing. And I think that as a GM, you have to be careful, right? This says a lot about you, right? Everyone's judging you on this. I'm sorry, I'm going to go to that. It's business, right? So this is your first move, in business. You got to make it not only safe, but you got to make it strong. So I think he did both of those things. He made it safe and strong. He didn't. There was no splash. There was nothing, no drama. And I think this is actually we will reap a lot of benefits from this next season. I really think this is a strong signing. This is very much a Lions signing, and I don't want to. This is like, and I don't want to say brand new Lions, and I don't want to say same old Lions ever again. I'm done with those. I'm going to say this is a strong Lions signing of who we are now and what we're doing now. So that's where I'm at, just so you guys are aware. But so this is a great Lions signing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, so as far as how I feel, like Cam Sutton to me is a solid pickup. I don't want to say that like I said, I didn't call it like Gian did, but it was somebody that I remember Gian calling out. This morning I got on Twitter and a couple other people had pointing out hey, these would be great gets for the Lions. And Cam Sutton's name was up there on the list of hey, this would be a great get for the Lions. So for the Lions to get someone that a lot of people had kind of circled as a great fit for this team, it's a great move by Brad Holmes. And again, I said it kind of at the beginning of the show, it shows that Brad Holmes is willing to make those big swings. This isn't a 1-year deal. This isn't something that's safe or something like that. He finally committed to some years. He finally committed some serious money. Now, obviously, the cap hit for the first year is very team friendly, but those next 2 years, Cam has an opportunity to make some very good money those next 2 years. Yeah. So again, kudos to Brad Holmes for going out there and making those big swings, especially in a situation where, I mean, we're going to get to it a little bit more later in the show, but the Lions were willing to take that big swing for a Jalen Ramsey. They were poised to make that big acquisition. So it shows how much they felt like they needed an upgrade at the cornerback position, but also a veteran upgrade and some leadership that they felt like they probably don't currently have in that room. Specifically the cornerback room. Obviously you have Tracy, who was a great leader for the DBs as a whole, but if you're talking about just the corners themselves, I mean, you have Jeff Okudah currently, and you had Jerry Jacobs, and then and Chase Lucas. These are a lot of young guys. Not saying that those young guys can't lead, but you would have gotten you're going after proven leadership, and that's something that Cam Sutton has under his belt. It's something that shout out to Tactical Puma, who pointed out, Scott, when you were talking about that teammate that was speaking so highly of Cam. It was Cam Hayward that was speaking so highly.
Thanks, T.
of Sutton.
Yeah.
So again, you kind of get that leadership. So now you're starting to establish leadership at all three levels. Where again, you re-sign Isaiah Buggs, who we talked about. That's leadership in the defensive line room. You re-sign Alex Anzalone. That's leadership for the linebackers. And then you add a Cam Sutton to go along with a Tracy Walker. And now you have, again, even more leadership, even more accountability in those rooms and some more competitiveness, which we talked about as far as needing the Lions to sign a veteran corner, because I think that's the best thing that Jeff can have right now, is a veteran that he can lean on, that he can learn from, and that will also take some pressure off of him from feeling like he has to play perfectly in every situation. Now he has to play at a high level, but like Aaron Glenn said recently, he just needs to learn how to be consistent more than learning how to play perfect. He needs to be consistent and be able to understand that he can play closer to that high level than more often than he doesn't.
And I think Meko, hold on, John, to add on to your point, Meko, he needs to find himself again. He needs to make that position his again and play to his strengths and defend his weaknesses. I feel like he's been defending against his injury for so long, and defending against his job. He's been playing so much defense, right? When someone drafts you and says, like, when Patricia did this to him, I mean, it's a trauma experience for Okudah.
Well, to draft a corner and then
honest.
Just basically throw him on an island.
Yeah, like that is a trauma experience. I don't care who you are or what's going on. But like that to me is what we're trying to so I think we can save him with Sutton. That's a big part of this. So I think that also says that we want to keep Okudah.
I mean, I think you
as much as you can
well to do that.
Right.
Yeah, I think you set yourself up well to do that.
Like, dude, we
some veteran leadership in the
also
room.
Thinking down the road. We kept you. We could have not cheaper. I mean,
hopefully,
theoretically, right? Like there's it's all
who's,
business.
Who's knocking on the door for Jeff Okudah?
Well, I don't know.
Jacobs. I mean, like, listen, people.
No, I mean,
like he's talking teams.
Other teams.
Oh, someone's gonna. No,
yeah,
see,
somebody will.
I think that's the miss. Like
somebody will grab him.
Really?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, he's a third overall pick.
Correct.
He's someone that's highly touted that was coming out of college. Like those guys get chance.
They'll get scooped.
Chance.
They'll get scooped.
Okay. I'll take it back.
Not quite low. You're gonna be okay.
I want to jump down a question though, because I mean, well, John, you had a point that you wanted to say about Okudah.
Well, I just had a question I just had a question I want to hear both of your guys' opinion on.
Yeah.
How much, if at all, do we think that what they're building here? I mean, I know, Scott, you didn't want to say brand new Lions, but the culture, like what you saw in Hard Knocks, like the fact that Sheila has now upped the timeline to get the new turf, the one that the NFL Players Association says is their preferred turf. We were supposed to get it after this upcoming season, but they bumped up the timeline, so it's installed now. It just seems like we're the player first organization, coaches, former players. Like, how much do you think that impacted Cam Sutton? Going back to that idea of 22.2.5 million, 32. I mean, Steelers could have matched that. Do you think that the culture factored in at all?
Well, I'll say, I mean, because I saw this on Twitter, based on Cam's tweet, which was basically just he wanted to feel wanted. And so it clearly feels like Pittsburgh wasn't
right.
Pittsburgh wasn't giving him the deal that the Lions gave him. Just straight up.
Okay.
Pittsburgh's
focus is somewhere else. We need, right? We need a Cam Sutton. So yeah. And also, if you think about it, I mean, all these players watched Hard Knocks last year. Everybody saw what the line. I mean, to see a team go down 6 and then come back, okay. I mean, it just is any athlete would be like, all right, there's something there in which they appreciate me, right? All of them. And I think that Dan Campbell does a good job of appreciating all of the players. That's the thing, right? There are coaches that are defense focused that are I'm on the defense every day. They're offensive coaches, I just care about the quarterback and what we're doing in the offense. I think Dan does a great job focusing on the team. And I think there's less and less coaches other than Andy Reid focusing on the team. Even though Andy Reid is offense focused.
I would put Mike Tomlin in that category. Well, players speak very, very highly of Mike Tomlin.
Okay. So, all right. So Tomlin, but do you get my point? I'm saying the players coach. That's the whole team. Where the defense and the offense both love the guy, that want to play for the guy. That's I don't see. The new coaches are we're installing this new offense. It's
well,
really,
and I think that's where, I mean, again, I think that's where
I'm
you
exhausted.
See the disconnect between, that's where you see the disconnect between coaching staff, players, and front office.
Arizona.
Right? Arizona. The coaching staff could value a player very much, but if the front office is hey, we don't want to allocate those types of funds to the cornerback position, well, now you have to let a guy like Cam Sutton go because your front office doesn't want to make the deal that even a coach may feel or even players may feel hey, he's deserving of that deal. So,
all right, I have real quick. Go.
No, mine is almost a joke. So you go first.
Okay, yeah. So Jay Pook, shout out Jay Pook. He had an interesting note here. I do want to. I was waiting on this. He says, guys, what I think they're building is a servant leadership structure and a modern, flexible, player-centric organization. They're taking cutting-edge business innovation into the locker room. It's awesome to see Sheila breaking up the good old boys club culture. This is awesome stuff for anyone who's studied modern leadership structures.
Interesting.
I think
I have not.
Yeah.
I was going to say I haven't either. So yes, yes to all the above. All right, we got so much more that we have to get through. I want to kind of like jump because we are talking about corners, we are talking about the DB room, and talking about Cam Sutton. So let's kind of talk about the Lions kind of missing out on Jalen Ramsey, with him opting to, like, again, having his preference being Miami. What was your guys' initial feeling about that? And even though they've missed out on Jalen and they've signed Cam Sutton, I mean, there's still a contingent of fans that were kind of getting excited when the news broke that the Eagles are allowing Darius Slay to seek out a trade. Is that something that you guys would be interested in the Lions pursuing even further, even though they already have a veteran in the room?
John, go ahead.
Well, I was never as high on Jalen Ramsey just because I feel like for the reason why I called Cam Sutton, it was never even really an option in my mind. I was like, this just doesn't feel like Brad Holmes. So I guess like I never really gave it the consideration that a lot of other people were. Like it was never a serious option to me. So I was not really disappointed when it didn't happen.
Well, hold on. So in that case,
yeah,
then, John,
I'm with go Meko.
Well, I was gonna say is because in a sense I was like kind of in agreement with you. Like this doesn't sound like a Brad Holmes move, but finding out that like the Lions were very much in the mix in pursuing Jalen, like, does that make you think differently?
Right.
I don't know.
Got it, Meko.
That's true. Yeah, you're holding me. I completely forgot about that. No.
John's been going too long.
I don't know. No, it really doesn't make me feel any differently. Like, I think, and again, because I think how Holmes and Campbell approach, like and Aaron Glenn, their philosophy of defense is an absolutely monstrous D line elevates average secondary. And so I think if you already have an above average secondary, then a monster D line just makes them look elite. And so I think, again, with like undervaluing or kind of deprioritizing linebackers for that very reason, Holmes has never drafted a linebacker above the 4th round. I think it's kind of the same principle. So I don't know if that answers your question. But
no, I'll disagree in the sense that, like, I think, like we said with the signing of Alex Anzalone, I think we know for sure that the Lions just don't prioritize linebackers as highly as we think they should, or as some fans think they should. Just knowing that they were making like an honest attempt to acquire Jalen Ramsey, and it basically came down to Jalen's preference, that tells me that they have corner high up there. They don't want just average cornerback play. They were looking for elite cornerback play.
And
now they think they have.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say they think they have that now in Cam Sutton, but they were swinging for the fences on a top 5 corner. Now we don't know what they were willing to offer, but they were. It at least sounds right. Like they were firmly in the mix,
right?
And that to me kind of was like eye-opening. Like, oh no, like this again. It's takes something that we thought about Brad Holmes and kind of flips it on his head, where it's like, no, Brad is willing to go out there and swing for the fences on a top player if he feels like the asking price is within like range for the Lions. Again, we don't know what the Lions were willing to offer, but seeing what Jalen went for, it would make you believe that it was probably somewhere in the same range, maybe even like a 2nd round pick versus a 3rd round pick.
Yeah. And I mean, and that does make sense. Like all last season leading up to the draft, maybe a little like after the draft, our main conversation was basically, Meko, you kept hammering this point of like talent versus culture. And when Holmes and Campbell, they keep going after these culture fits. When you said last season, I would love to see them go after like elite talent. And I feel like this shows the fact that the Lions were maybe for the final 2 was Miami and Detroit, kind of shows that Holmes and Campbell, like they think we're there, and it shows that they are not going after just pure culture fits at this point.
Yeah. Scotty?
But my favorite take. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, John, keep going. Keep going.
My favorite tweet about the Cam Sutton, Jalen Ramsey thing was like the thing like mom or like mom, can we have Jalen Ramsey? Mom, we have Jalen Ramsey at home. And then it was just a photo of Cam Sutton.
And it's Cam Sutton.
That. Yeah.
All right, so Scotty,
anyway,
thoughts on Jalen Ramsey? Thoughts on the Lions swinging for Jalen Ramsey, and like again, you can kind of like also chime in on what you think about the daily.
Yeah, first off, I want to shout out Gian for having this conversation with a baby in his arm. So shout out to him.
Well, she's in a carrier.
Regardless, arms carrier, she's on you. So shout out to Gian and Karina. So regardless, whatever. We appreciate you being here because I know it's tough. So Ramsey. Yeah, we talked about this. I mean, we were interested in Ramsey. I was definitely, but like the culture fit was always a thing for me. And so it worked itself out, right? He didn't want to be here. He wanted to be in Miami, right? Where was he before LA? Was he in
Jacksonville?
Jacksonville.
He was Jacksonville.
Right? So he was in Florida, then he was in LA. He's going back to Florida. Like, I mean, generally,
he also played at Florida State. We can't
right.
forget that
And
either.
so, like, dude, like Florida's home for him, essentially.
Yeah.
So a chance for him to go back to Florida, I think it's a no-brainer. I also think it's best for us. I mean, I'm sorry, but we keep talking culture and all this stuff. I think Sutton is a better fit than Ramsey. Yes, Ramsey is a shutdown, almost a shutdown corner, but he's getting older, and I'd rather have a leader in that room to help young guys we draft, period.
You realize they're the same age, right?
No.
They're both 28.
Why would you do that to me?
I didn't want you to get too much steam on that.
I wasn't. I was ending my comment. Meko just, all right. God damn it.
But no, like, I mean,
I shouldn't
you
say
guys
that.
were both pretty high on the culture thing. I was never concerned about Jalen Ramsey as a culture fit. Again, is he highly competitive?
Well, hold on, Meko. If we had a bad season, like let's just say we had a bad season, he would pout.
Then what? Everybody should be pissed. I said this when you brought that up. What if they're having a bad season? Jalen Ramsey shouldn't be the only one pissed off then. Like everybody,
right? But he's the one who acts out the most.
And what would be the counter to that if they are losing games?
No, I get that, but let's say. They lose. They lose 4 in a row, and he loses his mind. But then we win the rest. I mean, there's so many. Okay,
then I think it actually mattered. I think it helped. If you told me, the Lions lost 4 games in a row,
I'm not.
And then after the fourth game, Jalen Ramsey punched Aiden in the face, and they went on to win the rest of the games. That's the greatest punch ever.
I don't.
In football.
I disagree completely on it. I disagree completely on that. Here's the thing: we don't have to. It doesn't matter because he's not here.
But you threw out the hypothetical. Like that would be my response.
Yeah, but I still don't think punching a teammate in the face. When has that worked? I guess is my question. When has that worked?
Didn't Jalen Ramsey and Taylor Rapp get into a fight and then they won the Super Bowl?
But did he punch him in the face?
They got.
He literally got on the sideline. Yeah.
Did they win the Super Bowl that year?
Yes.
I can't remember what year.
I believe that was the year they won the Super Bowl.
I mean, one example. I don't know. I mean, how many times are teams fighting to fisticuffs that you go win a Super Bowl? I'm just saying.
I love as Scott's Hindenburg of an argument is going down in flames. He's like anecdotal.
Don't care. I don't think that's our team.
Then let's pivot to something that we should care about.
Fine.
Right? And that is the future of Jamal Williams. Like it's the first day of tampering. There is still so much of free agency left. Let's not overreact by any stretch of the imagination. But what is everybody's concern level at with Jamal Williams and the potential of him not re-signing with the Detroit Lions? And do you think the Lions can afford to lose Jamal Williams.
Oh, Gian is directing it to me.
Oh yeah, because you're like,
you're Mr. Insider Info.
Yeah, Dr. Detroit doesn't think so.
I was gonna say
Mr.
Jamal,
Guy knows a guy, knows a guy, knows a guy. Dr. Detroit.
I was gonna say you're like one of the bigger fans of the swag that here we're all fans of Jamal.
True.
Dude, we designed the swag. We started the anime movement. I don't care. There's like
wait, what? You can't say that.
Hold on. No. I don't know.
As an anime fan, I'm not gonna allow you to say that.
Hold on, stop. What I meant is like I don't care who thinks they started it, Meko. We started.
I understand that. That's why I'm saying, as an anime fan, slow your roll.
No. Our design of anime for Jamal, dude. I'm saying
preference. You gotta.
Well, you let me finish. Let me finish. I was about to say
you started wrong, and so I had to stop you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Regardless, no, for the biggest Jamal fans here, like in the city, I think, in my opinion, Meko, myself, Gian's not in the city. So, no, the Jamal thing's huge. I'm very concerned. I'd like him back. At this point, I don't know that we can afford him. If we have not signed him yet, if we signed Craig Reynolds, I don't know. I think the Bengals, if they really, really want to replace Mixon, who's a free agent next year.
I think Pirine is a free agent this year, though. So they would be looking to replace Pirine.
Well, but still, and then Mixon's a free agent next year. So why don't we get Jamal and pay him a ton this year? And we got, a mixed bag. I don't know. I think Jamal wants to. Well, I know Jamal wants to be here.
I know he said that. He
wants
to be here.
Yeah, I know he wants to be here. I know he wants to coach here. But just because he wants to coach here doesn't mean he's not going to leave here and come right back.
That's true.
Because he could leave here for a year or two, and Dan and Holmes will still be here, right? So he can get that connected. So I think there's a price limit on this. I think there's a range. I think it's 7 for me. I think it's 7. Like 6, 7 is my limit in negotiations. I'm sorry. But that's kind of where I'm at. Like high end 7. Like you can give a ton of incentives on a lot of stuff that he can get because we saw it last year. So those are almost guaranteed, right? Almost. Keyword.
I was gonna say like it depends on what.
Almost. But like if with the same, similar team. What's the O line is our O line. I just really think that it's going to be interesting what happens in the next 24 to 48 hours.
Can they afford to lose him, in your opinion?
Yeah. I do. I think I don't want to. I love him. But can they afford to? Yeah, I do. At the end of the day, if he goes, will we be okay? Yes. Because A, that's life. And B, Dan Campbell is Dan Campbell, right? You had a Dan Campbell and a Jamal. Right? Like someone has to step into his shoes. Who's that going to be? I don't know. Maybe Cam.
Right.
And not Cam Newton. Shout out Cam Newton. For those that don't know, listen back like a year ago to the box.
Gian?
I'm at about like a 4 out of 10 because like I'm not concerned just because I feel like Twitter and our access to these agents and access to the athletes we have such an instant gratification that that dopamine we hit F5, we refresh the page, we get that dopamine hit. And so like if something doesn't happen immediately, we kind of that dopamine runs out and we panic. So I agree with Scott that like the next 48 hours are going to be interesting, but I think just because, and you would have thought that they would have absolutely prioritized Jamal, so that's why
no, they did.
There's not
they
no
did.
panic.
John, they did prioritize Jamal. I just don't think we can afford him. Sorry, I want to clarify.
Okay, then I'm sure. Okay, but I feel like so there's no reason to panic. So I think about a 4.
I was gonna say I think that's where I'm about it because I'm still of the belief that the Lions re-sign Jamal. I think like there's still a strong feeling on my end that the Lions get this done. Best bet, like my only explanation for why it hasn't happened already is because they are allowing Jamal to go out there and see what his value is. Right? I think the Lions,
I think so too.
I think this team, the Lions, I think have been more transparent than most about allowing players to go out and see what their value is on the open market. And they are basically, I think they really do sit down with their players and say like, hey, we would want you back. We would love to have you back, but we understand this is a business. We understand and we project that you would have a big market. Go out there and see what your worth is. Come back and we'll see if we are willing to match that offer. And I think that's kind of what they're doing with Jamal. We've kind of already heard something similar in regards to John Kaminsky, that John Kaminsky's going to go out there and kind of test the market and see what's out there. But I mean, again, running backs in particular don't have a long shelf life. So if there is an opportunity for Jamal to make 8, 9, 10 million a year playing running back somewhere,
oh my gosh,
I do think it would be hard for him to turn that down and come back and play for the Lions, especially if that money is coming from a contender where that he has an opportunity or an equal opportunity to win a Super Bowl. Then I think it makes the decision even harder. I think if you kind of also read in between the lines when Brad Holmes talks about there being mutual interest, again, I could be reading really far into this, but it does sound like he has that tone of like, but there is a range, Scotty, to your point, that there is a range that the Lions feel comfortable paying Jamal within. And if there's anything that goes without that, like outside of that range, listen, as much as they would love to have him back, they cannot compromise their long-term plan.
I agree.
Right.
For one player.
Yeah.
And I think Jamal's shopping, and I don't blame him. If I was him, I just had the best season of my career. I'm going to shop it. I'm going to shop it. And I'm going to be like, hey guys, I want to come back and be your coach, but like, let me shop it. And they're going to be like, do it. Like, why?
I don't know. I don't know. So you said your range is like 6 to 7.
I said 7.
I'm more in the 6 range for me personally. And Gian, yes, it would kind of hurt me a little bit if they lose him to 7. But at the same time, like, again, we are the Lions and Brad Holmes are building this team for the future, not just for like one individual season. And so to the other part of this question, do I think the Lions can survive or do I think they can afford to lose Jamal? Yeah, kind of. I think what Jamal does is great as far as like touchdown production, fourth down conversions and things like that. But I do think you can find that with an offensive line that is as effective as this one. You can find another big back, whether it be in the draft, whether it be in free agency. Like, again, if Jamal and Samaje Perine swapped places, I think Samaje Perine would be just as successful here. Maybe not like breaking Barry Sanders' record, but breaking Jamal's record, but having a role as far as early down and short yardage, yeah, I think you could kind of replace that.
So I do just want to add, like I talked about Anzalone coming in. Like, I think Jamal coming in from the Packers to the Lions, like, he helped turn this boat around. He was an instrumental part in the culture shift, in his emotion. Like, you had to get somebody who was not here, but like way the F up here to get these kids to care. And so what I think Jamal did is taught everybody, right, especially the young guys that just came into the league, right, Aiden, right? Like, these guys, how and what it takes and what emotion, what level you need to get to turn something around. Like, it takes that much. It takes, like, way more. Like, the fact that I am honestly shocked he didn't get injured this season, because the amount of emotion he had this season, period, to win, and the amount he played, I'm honestly shocked. Like, he is one of the strongest dudes emotionally and physically. Like, it's a combination, right? When people get insecure or something, they get hurt. Like, there is something with that. We're not going to get into it in this podcast, but like, the fact that Jamal made it through the season is just like, I mean, it is like, he should get paid. just for what he did here, whether it's not here. But what I think that he leaves behind if he does go, he taught the young guys, the young cats, how to lead and what passion means, right? What leadership mean. Like, to me, in a ball, like him in his interviews, where he's been, how he's talked about the Lions, everything he's done is a great example for like younger players. Like it was
I think what you kind of like are saying kind of speaks to what Tactical Poma just put in there, where he basically says like there comes a time where you have to let those original culture guys walk, and it is possible that like what you're saying, right? Jamal helped establish a very good foundation for this team, and if they let him walk, I think you would still feel very confident that the imprint that he left on this team would still be there. And again, it's not like Jamal is the only leader. Like we gravitate to Jamal because of his passion, because of how visible it is. But they still have leaders in Taylor Decker. You still have leadership in Frank Ragnow, Penei Sewell. I think Saint is really capable and is ready to take that step as far as a leader. I think you have a leader in Jared Goff. So like, does it have to be Jamal? No, but the Lions have that luxury right now where it is Jamal, and I'm sure they're going to do everything they can to keep him. But I do think there are opportunities to upgrade.
Yeah, well, I want to chime in, and Scott, as you were talking,
go ahead, Gian, chime in.
And I think I think it's a really good point, and it's something that you were kind of circling but never really said. So I think I'm going to take this opportunity and articulate it. So I think what Jamal Williams represented or like showed, I'm out in LA. We love proofs of concept out here. Like, does this thing work? Like, you know, the Smile, that horror movie that came out that started as a short, and they made it on a shoestring budget. It's like 5 minutes long. Proof of concept. This thing works. It's scary. It works. It looks good on screen. Then someone came along, gave them money, and then they made it, and it's a big, wide release. Proof of concept. Jamal Williams, I think, was the proof of concept that letting players truly be themselves, even if it means it's a little weird at times. Like, you know, you got your star questionable, exactly. Like you got your star running back showing up in like anime shorts, a fanny pack, and like a wrestling belt, headband, like and flip flops.
No anime.
Like,
no, Meko, please correct him on his headband. What's the headband?
The Naruto headband.
It's a Naruto headband, John.
Oh, okay.
We have to we got to respect the anime. No, we got to get it right. So,
anime shorts, an anime headband, fanny pack, flip flops, like, and Calvin Shep, and like I think so. And then to see him have the success that he had shows the coaches, shows the GM, and it shows Sheila that like this concept works. You had Calvin Shepard, and again, I think it goes to, you know, Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, like when Calvin Shepard asked Dan Campbell for advice in getting hired, and he wanted to cut his hair, and Dan Campbell says, "Don't you dare." And Calvin really struggled with that because he says he said how many coaches, black coaches with dreadlocks and visible tattoos are there in the NFL? I'm going to simplify for you. None. There's none. And so he didn't cut his hair. He didn't wear he didn't wear long sleeves to cover up his tattoos. Like, he's like, no, this is who I am. And it works. And then fast forward all the way through the end of the season, week 18, you have that intro, and our players are just clowned. And you got Jamal Williams saying first, like on their introductions, the player introductions for Sunday Night Football, you had Jamal's famous first swag, Kazakage. Taylor Decker just said "V," and then who was it? Was it Kirby Joseph said he went to Harvard?
Yeah.
No,
so amazing.
They're just having fun.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, but I think Jamal was the proof of concept that players having fun translates to increased production.
Got it.
Well, yeah, it translates to success. It
John,
can translate.
I
to
agree
success.
with you. Yes.
Yes.
Well, longly said.
I got there.
No, you did. We got there.
So I think we're all kind of in agreement that, like, yes, there's a little bit of concern on Jamal. Maybe not resigning. Scotty, it sounds like there's a little more concern on your end. But we also do feel like even if he doesn't come back, that his production can be replaced, right?
Ooh, I didn't say his production can be replaced. I just, oh boy. Well, if we get Bijan, yes.
I was gonna say, so Bijan at 18, right? We're all on board with Bijan at 18.
I am. Nobody. We'll have to. Jeremy's gonna call him. I will not be. Yeah.
Hey, no, I already have him on the hook. He's already signed it in blood.
In blood. No, but like that. But honestly, dude, I think it's time for new blood in the RB room. I'm sorry. Swift is Swift. Like, I'm there. Bijan to me is, I think that would be a good fit for us. I don't care what anybody thinks. I do think that's a fit.
I think it's a fit, and it feels like again, it's my nightmare. It is absolutely my nightmare that Brad Holmes goes like just full balls to the wall and is like, I want Bijan Robinson. I want the most dangerous offense he can possibly put together.
Not at 6. Not at 6?
No, I said at 18.
Oh.
You're crazy?
Yeah, I was going to say. Damn, Gina. Damn,
Speaking
Gina.
of the draft, though. Speaking of the draft, our in-division rival, the Chicago Bears, made some news last week. We were not doing a podcast. I think we really might need to like reevaluate if we should be doing emergency podcasts when big news like this breaks. But that's a conversation for another day. The Chicago Bears traded out of the first overall pick with the Carolina Panthers. They are now at 9. They got some more draft picks as well. Is there any concern with what the Chicago Bears are kind of doing? They were very active on the first day of free agency. They signed Tremaine Edmonds. They signed TJ Edwards. They also signed a guard. I cannot think of his name. Davis? What is that? Is that correct?
I think Davis? It is. Yeah.
Okay.
John, go ahead. Moves. John, you're up.
Well, I'm going to default to Meko's response when I asked him about Aaron Rodgers or something a few weeks ago, and it was just the alpha response. It's just like we got Holmes, and so I'm not sweating it.
They still have to draft better than Brad Holmes.
Yes, that's what you said. They still have to draft better than Brad Holmes, and like that's really what it boils down to. Like, and judging by, this is the same organization. Now, granted, it's not the same general manager, but it's the same organization that traded up one spot to draft Mitch Trubisky, who was going to be there when they drafted. This is the same organization that traded Roquan Smith, and now it's now on the hook. They now paid two lesser linebackers more than what they would have paid Roquan, and then used that third pick to get Chase Claypool. I don't know. Like, I'm not nervous yet. Like, Bears had about $100 million in cap space, and they've used half of it on 2 off-ball linebackers and a guard. And so, I don't know. Yes, they are improving. As Meko said, every team is looking to improve in the offseason. No one goes into this thinking, how can we get worse? So the Vikings, Packers.
Except for the Vikings. The Vikings are doing something.
No, they're, yeah.
Packers, if Rodgers is going to the Jets, and the Packers are probably going to get draft capital this year and next year and clear a bunch of cap, like, they're going to get better too. So I am of the opinion that, like, you know what? Like, look at Vikings. They went into the postseason and then got curb stomped by a 9-8 team. So I think our division needs to be as strong as possible so that we play good teams multiple times a season so that we can make a deep playoff run.
Totally fair.
Even if the Bears are getting better, good. We'll be even better.
Okay.
No, I mean, again, am I concerned? No. Like, my first reaction when the trade happened was I was surprised. I was surprised that Carolina, like, that was not a team that I expected to jump to 1. Maybe to 4. To 1 was like, oh, I was not expecting that. But again, when you kind of take a step back and you look at Carolina specifically, and it's like, well, their division is just as wide open as ours. So why not kind of mortgage your future a little bit to get your quarterback and be in contention? Because right now, the only roadblock in your division right now is what? Derek Carr and the New Orleans Saints. Like, that's a toss up. But what the Bears are doing, I mean, I said it on Twitter, and I think we all kind of know this to be true. Just because you spend in free agency doesn't mean that that'll translate to wins. But I don't like seeing good players go to the Bears. I don't like, because it's one of those teams where it has nothing to do with Tremaine Edmonds. It has nothing to do with TJ Edwards. It has nothing to do with Nate Davis necessarily. Right now, based off of last season, Jared Goff is the best quarterback in this division. We can all agree on that, right? Based off of production and what he did. But if we are looking at talent, it is Justin Fields by a pretty healthy margin. And the last thing you need is for the Bears to give him life and give him like substance to be able to succeed. So like, while I'm not tripping over the draft picks, because I agree with you, John, I'm very much still in the same vein of what I said. They still have to outdraft Brad Holmes. And as 2 years in,
that's no small task.
Yeah, he is running laps on this division when it comes to the draft. But you did give him DJ Moore. And call it what you want. Like we can make all the jokes
that's
we want
gonna
about
be a problem.
Justin Fields.
No, that's a problem.
All the jokes we want about Justin Fields being a running back. We can make all those kind of jokes as we want. I'm pretty sure those jokes were probably flying in Philly too when Jalen Hurts only had Devonta Smith. But then they gave him AJ Brown. And I'm not saying DJ Moore is AJ Brown. I'm simply saying, though, you give him that, as well as, like, yes, they still have to address the O-line. Like, there are still plenty of moves they have to make there.
That's my biggest thing is, like, sorry. Oh, finish up. Sorry.
No, Mike, it's just the last thing you want is Justin Fields to figure it out. Because if Justin Fields figures it out, this becomes a different discussion, like, quickly, very quickly.
Well, right, for sure. And, like, if you're a Lions fan, the last thing you want is for Justin Fields to figure it out. If you're a Chicago Bears coach and GM, the number one thing you want to do is for Justin Fields to figure it out. So what do? You build through the trenches, you protect his ass, so he has the time to figure it out. And it's just, and then signing 2 off-ball linebackers. Just, I don't know. Like, it's, as we were texting pre-show, it's just a completely different approach. That doesn't mean it's not going to work. That doesn't mean it's invalid. That doesn't mean it's stupid. It's just a completely different approach. But for everything you just said, if you're looking at potential, if you're looking at talent, the most talented person on that team is Justin Fields. And you can give him time to become Jalen Hurts with a dominant O-line and to use, I don't know. It just seems like that so then it seems like their priorities are a bit questionable, not in a good way.
Thank you. Sure. Thank you for defining that, John. I appreciate that. Very much.
But like, so yeah, am I concerned? Not really. But like, again, it's if there is currently a team that you have an eye on that you're kind of side-eyeing in the division, right now it's the Bears.
For sure.
Right now, it's the Bears, and you're kind of side-eyeing them. You're kind of poking fun at the Vikings because it's like, what the hell are you guys doing? And the Packers, you're waiting to pat them on the back after they lose Aaron Rodgers to be like, hey, you did it, guys. He can't hurt you anymore. You're free.
Yes. I refuse to accept that they will get another decade of Hall of Fame quarterback play
from Jordan Love.
I couldn't.
Oh God.
I couldn't disagree more. I'm not worried about the Bears right now. Dude, DJ Moore is just coming in. They need 2-3 years. Like, they have done this year upon year under this, like, under what they don't know what they want. They don't know who they are, right? They have no identity, right? The Packers just lost Rodgers. They have no identity. Minnesota just dismantled their defense. They purposely, like, ruined their identity. Kirk Cousins, I'm not worried about Kirk Cousins. Like, I just think that the Lions need to focus on the Lions and do what they're doing and just eyes forward. We're marching ahead, and I don't think it's a problem. I really don't. I know there's a lot of – I just don't think the Bears can do it right. Not yet. I don't. They haven't proved it, right? John, to your point.
But did Philly necessarily prove it before, like, it went from like whatever the hell they did last year to like, hey, in the Super Bowl?
Okay, but that's a different owner. But but that's
it's the same situation in the sense that like you probably didn't have high expectations from them to go from there to there. Like we talk about this all the time. Like there's so many instances in the NFL where a team goes from worst to in the playoffs, or they go from worst to first. Like
Phillies
it does happen.
Yes, it
Hello,
does.
Jacksonville Jaguars. Like,
okay, but I do
I'm
still
not disagreeing with you.
No,
in the
but
sense
the
that,
Jacksonville,
like
Jacksonville getting into the playoffs next year is a question mark for me. Like they have a lot of like
that's okay, but that's next year's issue. Oh, I'm simply saying as far as the argument that you put out, or the statement that you made about like that the Bears will need a year to figure it out, or you don't trust them to necessarily go like to figure it out in a year. Like, I think that same statement could have been made about Philly. I think that same statement could have been made about Jacksonville. Like, it happens where you feel like that team doesn't really know what they're doing, and they do just enough to again make a huge leap from where they were before. Hell, even what the Lions did. Like, but again, I think we saw them improving, but again, not to the degree of losing 6 straight and then being within a game of getting into the playoffs.
Okay. Do you think the Bears are going to make the playoffs next year? That's my question right now.
That's a different argument than what I initially threw out there.
What are you talking about? I just said I don't care. All I said was I don't care about the Bears and what they've done. I don't think it's enough. I think it's a couple years away for them to make the playoffs. Like that's what
I think what you were insinuating is that like it's not, it would, at least what it seemed like you were insinuating is that it's not possible, that it's impossible to make that quick turnaround. And what I said, okay, but my counterpoint was that other teams have made that quick turnaround where you would have thought they needed 2 or 3 years to figure it out, and they turned it around. That's all I'm saying, that the Bears are, it's still likely.
Okay. But do you think so far, like, we have to go for the draft. So I hate this. I do hate this part of it because, like, who's drafting who? But, like, do you think the Bears, with what they've done, spending half their cap, right, are going to go to the playoffs?
I think the NFC North is wide open. I've said that in our group text. You can quote me. I've said that. I think the NFC North is wide open. Do I think the Bears could find magic and make their way into the playoffs? Sure, just as much as I think the Lions could.
Right, but this is we're talking Lions here. That's what I'm trying to get back to. Is like, I think the Lions, if we keep our eyes like forward, we can get through them.
I agree, but I'm just as much as I think the Lions could do that, I equally think as of right now the Bears could do very much the same thing, because they currently have the quarterback with the most potential, with the potential to be dangerous. Like,
oh, we're gonna get Goff versus Fields right now? We gonna do that?
Are we? Didn't we not just agree? Gian, did I miss something? Did we not just agree that Justin Fields was the most dangerous, like, based off potential? Pretty sure we agreed on that.
Yes, we did. Sorry, I said to the Trader Joe's. So,
the most LA thing that you could have possibly said. I just stepped into Trader Joe's.
No, that kind of saved it, because it was like, I don't know where we're gonna go for the next 30 minutes.
No, Justin Fields potential. Yeah, no, he has every bit of ability to be Jalen Hurts 2.0, like unquestioned. Jared Goff
unquestioned
had the best season. Had the best season last year, but yeah.
And that's all I'm saying is like that they have like, if you're going to hold my feet to the fire and say, do you think the Bears could make it? I think they have just as equal of a shot, because again, like I believe the Lions.
You think the Bears have just equal of a shot as the Lions to make the playoffs?
Yes, because again, on the caveat that Justin Fields figures it out, they are going to run. They could run away.
That's a caveat,
because that's how right. But the same. Okay, but I could add the same caveat for the Lions, where if the Lions defense figures it out, they run away with this division. You see how you can set up caveats for any team in this division and pave a way for them to get to the playoffs?
Correct. But what I'm saying is I think the Lions are set up better to make the playoffs this year.
Currently, yes, but if there's still a caveat that they still have to figure out that defense. You're still coming in there with one of the worst defenses, and you still have to hope that they figure it out. In addition to whatever pieces you add, they still have to figure it out just as much as the Bears do. Like, it's not
Who figured it out this past year to put them in the best position for this year?
The Lions, but...
Okay, so I'm just... All I'm...
You're what?
All I'm
Backing
saying,
out of an argument that you
no,
initially
I'm not.
set up
I'm
and
not
realizing that you
backing out
can't.
of any argument. No, I'm just saying, like, it doesn't matter what the Bears like. I don't like the Bears. Yes, they're building something, but it's not. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I don't think that what the Bears are doing matters this year. I don't. I really don't. And I could be wrong, and we'll come back to this, and that Meko was right. But, like, I don't think what they're doing is going to really push them that far ahead. I don't.
I simply said, I know. But initially what I said was, like, it's a team that you would, yes, currently in this division, that's the team that you're looking at side-eye.
Correct. Side-eye, but I don't, like, not enough, or, like, it's a, like.
I didn't say they deserved your full attention. I didn't say about face. I said side-eye.
Side-eye. Side-eye.
I don't even think it's a side eye, I guess. Then my argument is, like, I don't even care.
Oh man.
I guess, like, I don't care what they, like, dude, they traded whatever. I don't think that they're a threat. I really don't. With what we're building, I really don't. And I feel like I'm the only one here. Like, I just don't care. Like, I don't. Like, I think that the Lions have built something special. And I think that the Bears are, like, still trying to figure out their identity. And I'll say it again. Like, they don't know who they are. Yes, Fields has DJ Moore now, which is huge, and that's important. But I still think we can beat them. So I
didn't disagree. I did not. At no point in time did I ever say that the Lions couldn't beat the Bears, that they wouldn't be competitive with the Bears. I simply said, team to side-eye, team to kind of like, hey, okay, the moves that they're making as of right now. If you're looking at your division, there's you and there's the Bears as far as teams that are making, like, interesting moves. The Vikings are literally shedding players that are impact players for them.
Yeah, which I don't understand. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
So hold on. I want to acknowledge this really quick. Casey, no, I'm not overrating Fields. I'm simply acknowledging the potential that, like, exists. And it's not just me. Like,
no,
again,
he's
you can
good.
Turn on ESPN, you can turn to anything, and, like, people are like, hey, it's the player where, again, if he figures it out, there's where that potential is.
Well, and Meko, to your point, if he figures it out next season, in the beginning of the season, yes. Like, but he's got to figure out a lot.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make that something not nothing, but I wasn't going to
apologizing for it. Like,
something not nothing, but I was like,
sorries in this space.
Well, I'm a sensitive guy, guys.
I'm a sensitive I disagree with that opinion.
Yeah.
People in the chat disagree with my opinion. Some people disagree with you. Like, that's fine.
That's what it is. Is what it is.
You can stuff your sorries in a set.
John, you know what?
There's a Seinfeld.
John, go back to LA and just shove it.
LA. How you can't go back somewhere here?
That's the point, Meko. Go back to LA and shove it, John.
Oh man.
Right. No, I'm jokes. Jeez,
no, but I do think side eye. Like, I think that's a good term, because I do think the Lions are going to win the division. I do think the Lions are going to be somewhere between a 11 and 13 win team next year, and I do think the Lions are going to make the playoffs next year. Now, who do I think within our division is the team with the highest chance of spoiling that? It's the Bears. That doesn't change that. I do think the Lions are going to accomplish everything I just listed. The biggest the potential to have a spoiler is the Bears. So that's it. Nothing more.
Shout out to Jay Pook. Hashtag, he goes, Devil's advocate. If Goff figures out he's Joe Montana and we win 4 Super Bowls.
I mean, I was gonna say, Mark LeBay just said in the chat, he was like, if Goff figures out how to move in the pocket, it's all over.
So Twitch to YouTube. That's what I'm saying. So if Fields figured out, I mean, come on. Like, I'm just saying, you know.
Which we saw Goff start to scramble a little bit.
I still need them to pick up.
I still need Goff in a sprinter training session once a week, and he's not doing that. He's getting married and partying.
I still need them to get him some backup help, because
yes,
Meko, you are still a Jared Goff injury away.
And I think in the draft we'll get a backup, but like late. I think we'll get a late backup. I think they have to. That was fun.
Yes. I mean, first day of tampering.
And Gion's back. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this might work.
You can't talk. I've played the lightning. You can't talk.
Oh.
Okay, lightning's off.
Yeah, this might work. Feels good.
And Jay Sanders in our YouTube chat, don't get too excited. All right. Yes, we talked about the Bears a little bit, but nah, ain't nobody really tripping over your Bears. All right. I can bear down on these nuts.
Shout out. Shout out. That's what's up. All right. So my question is, biggest question marks or biggest thoughts before we get up free agency today. Your biggest wows today, Meko and John. Like, what was your shocks today, if you had any?
Lions related or not Lions related?
Just anything related. Open. Lions preferred, but open. Like today. What was the biggest thing that happened for you today that you saw and was like, what? Or damn,
it made me laugh. And it's kind of my favorite. Yeah. It's Jimmy G going to the Raiders.
Oh my God, that was the same thing for me.
I was like, that feels so Raiders.
Yeah, my thing was like, you're gonna send Mr. GQ to Vegas. Guy will never show up to a game. He's like 40 minutes late. Sorry guys, I was out. I was out. You know, like okay. Sending like one of the
table was hot. The table was hot until it was cold, and
yeah, the table was my bed, and yeah.
Jimmy G is just too good looking for Vegas. Like that's a horrible match.
Straight up. Like that's just why. Like okay, he must have. He's got to have a chauffeur or something. Like okay, Jimmy, we gotta go. Personal assistant. In his contract, I bet it's like a cute assistant says, Jimmy, we gotta go here. We gotta go. No,
they're gonna get him. They're gonna get him like a former Navy SEAL or something.
It's gonna be something.
Whatever it is, I hope they bake that into his contract. Because if not, Jimmy G out of illness today. Illness.
He's got the clap. That's what he's got. He's got the clap. That's why he can't play.
He's got the clap.
Suffering from hangover-related illness.
Oh man. Gian, what about you?
For me, it wasn't one move, but we already touched on it. The Vikings, just how thoroughly they are just stripping it to the studs. I mean, well, no pun intended. Stripping it to the copper wiring, maybe, or the pipes. I don't know. But just how Peterson. Everyone. They got rid of everyone. And so, to me, that was the most surprising. Lions related, I was really expecting, after his comments on social media, I was really expecting a Kaminsky deal day one. That was kind of surprising.
Scotty, you gonna stick with Jimmy G, or did you have anyone else as a runner-up since I apparently took yours?
No, it's cool. No, I was with you with Jimmy G. The Mike White to Miami was interesting.
Oh.
So to me today, the Mike White thing was like, because Aaron's like, I don't know, like even though it happened. The Mike White to Miami made me think the Rodgers thing is like final.
Yeah.
And also it's interesting, right? You get Tua and Mike White. Like, so if Tua, like that's a tough team, Miami, then you get Tua in, and if he gets injured again, which I hope he doesn't, but you know, I mean, time is
it's not a good sign when
right.
You're teaching a grown man how to fall.
Well, correct. And regardless, like you get Mike White there, like you're planning for a backup, right? I think Mike White is the best backup. And could we argue Mike White's one of the best backups in the NFL?
Yeah, probably.
Not a starter, not a starter becoming a backup, right? I guess is what I also want to.
I mean, well, actually, I don't know. I think Jacoby Brissett still kind of like holds that crown because, like,
I don't Mike White crushed though. I'd rather have Mike.
No,
White
I know,
than
but Jacoby's just done it like a little more consistently. Like
that's fair.
Jacoby's been a backup everywhere, and he's consistently like, hey, throw him in there for a game or two, and he'll hold he'll keep you afloat.
So anyway, but Mike White to Miami, that to me today of that, I was like, Mike White to Miami. I'm like, wait, what? Okay, so then the Rodgers thing to me becomes real, which then gets me excited because, like, F that, like, like F pack, all that. I'm like, okay, all right. So to me, that was exciting because it kind of confirmed something that's not confirmed yet. They wouldn't move Mike White if that wasn't confirmed. You know what I mean?
Well,
like, and
it's
this
also
is
hilarious that, like,
where I go with Craig
Lions,
Reynolds, and that's my question with the Lions. Well, it goes from Mike White to Miami, right? You're moving, Mike White, assuming that Aaron's going to be there. But that's my concern with Craig Reynolds and Jamal. We haven't signed them yet, so that's us signing Craig early. Like, it just, to me, those are tea leaves. I'm trying to read the tea leaves. That's all, tea leaves.
Right.
I don't know.
Did you have a point that you wanted to make? I was gonna give like a little bit of free agency news update in case anybody missed it.
No, I was just gonna chide Aaron Rodgers that, like, the first time the Lions start to look competent as an organization from top to bottom, from hightails out of there.
That is a really good point.
Jay Pook just said that Anzalone lit up our podcast, and I was very confused. And he said, no, because you played the Lightning thing. I was like, wait, he's here? What? Why? How did he find us? And he goes, no, I did, because I was trying to, like, no, he was like that. He goes, yeah, so no.
From now on, that's the Anzalone.
I guess, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's got to be
it is. It's the Anzalone.
I'm with it.
Thor. I mean, that's a great call. And I was so confused.
Real quick, just some other, like, NFC North.
Any other news that we missed?
Yeah, I was gonna say that we missed, probably just from being on the podcast. Vikings are signing Marcus Davenport, defensive end from New Orleans Saints. It looks like a 1-year deal that's only $13 million. So, and then the Bears signed another defensive player, DeMarcus Walker.
What? Okay.
So,
Okay.
So no help for Fields yet. They must be good. I mean, think about that in a draft.
I mean, they must be. They did strike out on Mike McGlinchey though, so
that's true. But like even Mike McGlinchey was like,
honestly, I love this. Bears, keep reaching for the stars. Keep reaching for something you want instead of creating stuff from within. That's what we're doing. We're growing a flower. The Bears are trying to, like, pluck things out of the sky. That's what I think.
Like, what's interesting, like, even Mike McGlinchey, or whatever his name is, like, from all accounts, he was a fantastic run blocker, but a terrible pass blocker. And, like, if you're playing the Bears, you know they're going to run the ball. So then, I mean, maybe their philosophy is, like, just try and stop us. You can't. I don't know. But, like, you would feel like, again, give Fields as much time as you can. Give Fields as much, like, as big of a spear of protection as you can.
Yeah, but he's still got to make good decisions. It's up to him.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
We'll know it this year.
Yeah. No, we'll see if, like, again, we'll see if he can make that leap. All right. Anything else that we need to touch on?
I mean, we could.
We've been on here for almost 2 hours.
I know.
So, like,
I think I know. We're good. I guess. Questions to the listeners. Any crazy questions? Do we want to throw that out or no?
Mark said in the chat, "What are the odds the Lions go 6-0 in the NFC North?"
Ooh, I don't know.
Good. It's looking good.
I mean, right now,
yeah, I would say it's looking good.
Right now, I'd throw 50. Not like 200 of a bet, but I'd throw 50 on it. 50 to 100. Yeah, I throw 100 on it.
Yeah,
I think that's what odds mean. But
what's that?
I don't know. I don't gamble, so, like, I don't.
No, well,
yeah, I don't either.
Okay, a unit. A unit is what they call 100. A unit. I'd throw a unit on that. Sorry, let me clarify.
But I thought odds were like 10 to 1, 20 to 1.
No,
like,
and what people call units are a unit. One unit is like $50. One unit could be $100. One unit could be $500. One unit could be like $1 million. Like, so a unit is what you're betting.
My unit.
Oh. Okay, can we put that? That needs to go on social ASAP.
We're having fun.
Yeah. So a unit is what the what you want to bet. I would throw, for me, I'd throw a unit I'd throw Meko's unit, so that might be $200 for me. I'd throw a unit on that, as long as that. No, I right now,
Nope.
yeah. Why wouldn't I? Like, why would I not? Like, all we're doing is getting better. Like right now, at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to see the
what do you
schedule, though, home and away. I do worry about away games, though. That's my only caveat.
Yeah. Outdoor away games.
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, I think their odds are good. I think, I don't know, they came very close to doing that this year, right? They lost, what, one game to Minnesota? They came very close to sweeping the division. So
Correct.
I think they have the exact same opportunity. Like, again, the thing that's going to be key is a faster start to the season.
Yeah.
Like, you can't start in these 6-game losing streaks in the beginning of the year. Like, that's a recipe for disaster. But we'll talk about all of that stuff as we get closer to the season, because Lord knows, like, off season's just getting started. We have so much stuff to get through. I mean, there'll be more free agency moves. NFL draft is a month away. Training camp. There's a lot of stuff to kind of come down the pipe a little bit. So, but Scotty, can we give the news on who our guest is next week?
Why don't you give the news, man? I mean, like, you give it.
So
you did. You did. I mean, yeah, hit it up.
Next week we will be joined by the one and only Jeremy Reisman of Pride of Detroit. He will be coming by to talk to us about NFL free agency, Lions free agency, probably a little bit of NFL draft and things of that nature. But we're super excited, as you guys know, or those of you who have been watching for a while. Jeremy is a good friend of ours, a good friend of the pod. So we are very thankful that. Yeah, we're super thankful that he's even making time for us, because obviously, this is kind of like his chill time. But again, he's making time to kind of come on and hang out with us. We are still.
He's not happy about Meko's latest post, though.
I was going to say he's super pumped to talk about.
I'm shocked he's still coming on.
We'll talk about it. I think.
Well, that's a great part.
Yeah, but no. So yeah, definitely come by next week. Podcast will likely be on Tuesday, because Jeremy, that's what lines up with his availability.
Now, Meko, we can talk about it. We could hop on for like 20 minutes though on Monday to keep it and remind people to go to Tuesday. That could be.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, so I can do it too. So we'll do Monday and Tuesday. So we'll hop on any
you guys
big
get
news.
Double the questionable podcast next
week. Double questionable. Yeah. So let's do that, and that'd be fun. And then next week we're gonna air some of our new designs. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Tune
big
in.
Show.
Yeah,
big show.
It is a big show, John.
Huge show.
And we might have some winners too next week.
Oh, right.
Oh, snap. Yep. Giveaways. Giveaway season is upon us for questionable
reason
teas.
for you guys to come by.
Yeah.
Reason for you guys to tune in.
But we appreciate everybody that was here. We had a lot of people. We had 30. Oh, hey, Karina. Yes, you can have it. Yes, you can have it. Yes, we'll make you a onesie. Okay. I promise. All right. Yes, it's on my list to do. Okay.
All right, let's free the people. You guys have been awesome. We had 30 people in here at one point in time on YouTube. So shout outs to you guys. Shout out to J Pook holding it down on Twitch.
Yes.
We appreciate you. People go over there. Go over to Twitch. Hang out with J Pook.
J Pook's getting something special because he's on Twitch. He's the Twitch right now. Ooh. So yeah. We already connected. So if you guys go over to Twitch, you might get some more freebies. That's where we're launching freebies on Twitch. So it's up to you.
All right, brother. Hit us up with our outro.
All right, thank you guys. Please, yeah. All right, it's a long one, but thank you guys for tuning in, guys, girls, everybody. But please follow, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Please subscribe to us on YouTube and Twitch, and please head over to Questionable Tees. We have great new work coming. Also, we have great new work coming with Darren McCarty. Not that we're talking hockey, but we got cool new stuff for the NHL. We had a lot of stuff happen there the past week, which we didn't talk about. Bye Bertuzzi. Hi Dylan Larkin. I don't like it. But anyways, so anyways, yes, thank you all for everything and your contributions. Please continue to be a part of the chat. There's the highlight of my day. So thank you. And John, so happy to have you. You know, I mean, okay, can we make this work? Can we do more dial-ins? This could be fun.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, all right, we can make it work. But Meko, I don't want to forget about Meko. Meko makes this all happen. So everybody, I want to give a shout out to Meko. He's a main man. So Meko, thank you for everything you do. All you do, you are the engine that turns us. So thank you, Meko.
Appreciate you, man. Shout out to you guys first and foremost, Scotty, John. You guys make this worth doing every Monday night. You guys make it fun, whether it's the back and forth, whether it's just the comedy. Like it's fun being able to do this with friends. But no, shout out to the chat again. We appreciate you guys so much. This move to live stream was not one that we took lightly, and you guys have made this such an easy transition for us. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you all engaging with each other, engaging with us. It's awesome. It's all in good fun. Jay Sanders, Bears fan, you're more than welcome to come back, but just realize you're gonna get some Lions hate here and there. So just
you got to point him out next time. I would have loved to know.
Good fun.
It's fine,
man. Again, we appreciate it because you still came by. You came by. You hung out with us. We appreciate you, man. At the end of the day,
for sure.
But yeah, shout out to my family for allowing me to do this, and yeah, we will catch you guys next week. Gian.
First, I want to correct the record, Scott. The piston is what turns, not the engine. So,
here, no one cares about the Pistons here right now, bro. No one cares about the Pistons right now. So I'm gonna like clarify that for you. So anyway, you lost the crowd.
My wife just corrected. She's like, actually, the Pistons fire. They don't turn. So.
See what happens when you try to upstage your co-host.
Rachel, shout out to Rachel, holding him down. Keep it up, Rach.
Holding me to account.
Holding him down.
To my daughter, who's amazing. She's spent this whole time in the carrier.
Well, she's famous also.
And my wife who's here, and just making everything.
You guys, it is what it is. John, thank you for being on here. It's all about family and friends and love and positivity. So, Positive Scott, Meko and I talked about this. Positive Scott is here. So anyway, thank you guys. Thank you, Meko. Thank you, Gian. Thank you, everyone in the chat, YouTube and Twitch. But you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. This was great. We're going to do it again next week, 2 times. 2 times, not 1 time, but 2 times. So tune in Monday and we'll get you to Tuesday. This is the Questionable Podcast. Out.